Michaela Teague with the Office of the Attorney General, and we're here on a suit for modification and a motion to confirm support arrearages that our office filed July 23rd, 2024. The parties actually have agreements on most of the issues. The only real issue is if today should be a temporary order or a final order. So mom is requesting a temporary order because dad currently is unemployed. However, both parties are in agreement to set their dad's gross at minimum wage with a child support at $248. And dad is requesting a final today with a finding of minimum wage at child support at $248. And the state is requesting a temporary order as well.
Okay.
With a comeback of August 14th at 8:30.
That's your recommendation. Okay, we'll look at it and you'll tell me, maybe you can tell me now how long this case has been pending. Have we had any prior hearings or settings with no order?
This is a first setting, Judge, but it has been pending since July of 2024. It looks like both parties were served in August of 2024, so it's been pending for a couple of months now.
Well, it'll be almost a year, but more like 10 months, whatever. You're talking
Yes.
2024. Okay. And then no, we haven't taken it up, the merits or prior temporaries, obviously.
No, Judge.
Okay, then you may proceed with your witnesses. She's going to call you one at a time. I don't know who she's calling first. So just the other one that's not talking, if you're not a witness, try to remain silent. Don't try to interrupt. Don't try to tell me your side in the middle of the other person's side. I'm going to go orderly or stop you unless it's a valid legal objection. I can take it up. Otherwise, write notes if you want to remember what you want to say when it's your turn. And then I think I had talked to both of you or mentioned the part about being off video or on video. Mr. Scott, do you have any preference for that or not?
For being off video?
Yeah, when she's testifying, you can be off video and vice versa. I like
It
to
doesn't
see
make
you
me
when
no
you're
difference.
talking. I'm sorry, what?
It doesn't make me any difference. Whatever works best.
And Ms. Thomas, when people are testifying, I like to see them to see their reactions when they're talking or answering questions. And then if it's not your turn, I don't mind you being off video. Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, then we'll go forward. Who are you going to call first? And the other one can be off video.
I'm gonna call Ms. Thomas first.
Okay, Mr. Scott, you can go off video.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Ashley Marie Thomas.
Okay, and I'm gonna run through some agreements here first. So are you in agreement to set Mr. Scott's income, gross monthly income at minimum wage, $12.56.67? Are
Yes.
you in agreement? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, and then are you in agreement to the child support being set at $248 a month?
Yes.
Okay, and do you currently carry the health insurance for the children?
Yes.
And is that at a cost of $314 per month for medical
Yes.
support?
Yes.
Okay, and is it at a cost of $46 in dental support?
Correct.
Okay, and you carry this through your employer?
Yes.
Okay, and is it your position today to request a reimbursement amount from Mr. Scott at $57 a month
Yes.
for medical and $0 a month in dental?
Yes.
Okay,
For temporary.
yes,
Correct.
and
Okay.
yes, and your request today is for these to be temporary orders?
Correct.
Okay, and can you tell the court why you're requesting temporary orders?
One, because we have to, be financially responsible for our children. I've been carrying the weight this whole time, especially with medical. Both my kids have diagnosis, which have monthly needs and monthly costs. And I believe that temporary should be considered just to hold accountability. The actual amount itself is not my issue. It's the accountability part of the financial obligations.
You get a job when she keeps calling you every job you get.
Okay.
You have a record.
I'm hearing some voices that are not the witness. If you're gonna talk to her, talk to anybody, one, they cannot be a witness because they're here, with you.
Sorry, that was the TV.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell.
My
So,
bad. My bad. I just turned it off.
okay, if you want to stop your video, you can do that too, so it doesn't come through. I'm trying to record this and I don't want any problems with the recorder. Okay, thank you, Mr. Scott. He's off, audio. So, Teague, where were you on the?
Yes, I had one more question. Miss Thomas, is it your request today to not disclose your address, home address, phone number, and email address on this order?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have a fear of imminent harm if Mr. Scott did know that information?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the court a little bit about that?
We currently have pending charges on with our case of a threat. He also has felony charges pending with his other kid's mom. The whole situation, my situation, happened based off of money. He had wanted me to forgive him for back pay. So financial thing is always a trigger, and I'm just not even willing to put myself or my kids at risk at this point.
Okay. And this pending case, do you know when it's supposed to, like, is there a final setting for it?
For mine, the pretrial, like, next setting is June 13th.
Nothing further, Judge.
Tell me how many kids you have together and how old are they, Miss Thomas? I'm aware of that.
We have 2 and 7 and 9.
Just 7 and 9. And y'all have been apart for a while, you and Mr. Scott?
Yes.
How long have you been separated?
Since 2019.
Okay. Okay, then Ms. Teague, you may call your next witness, and Ms. Thomas, if you want to go off video and audio, that would be fine. And you would return, Mr. Scott.
All right.
All right, Mr. Scott, can you please state your name for the record?
Cameron Lawrence Noble Scott.
Okay. And do you have any other children outside the one in this case?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you have 2 in this case and 1 outside.
Yes.
Okay. How old is that other child?
He's 2.
Okay. I'm gonna get into some agreements now. So are you in agreement to set your gross monthly resources at minimum wage at $12.56.67?
Yep.
Okay. And are you in agreement to pay $248 a month in child support?
Yep.
I'm sorry, was that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you in agreement to reimburse mom $57 in
Yeah.
cash medical?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you in agreement with mom keeping her information out of the order?
Sure. Be my guest.
Okay. As far as your job and your income, are you currently unemployed?
Yes.
Okay. Are you looking for a job?
I have, but due to certain situations, I have not been able to obtain a job because of the pending case, which is in the process of getting ready to be dismissed.
Okay. Do you do any sort of side jobs?
Yes, I cut grass.
Okay. And how much would you say you make, let's say every week cutting grass?
Probably about like $50 or so.
$50 a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
If that.
Are you looking for a job maybe at minimum wage?
But due to certain situations and certain people, I haven't been able to get one.
Okay. Have you had interviews?
I have, and I've had job offers, but due to certain situations, I've been getting turned down on job offers.
Okay. And is it your request today to do final orders?
Yep.
Okay. Can you tell the court why?
The reason being why I would like to do final orders is because I have not been able to see my children for a whole year, and it's never been an issue for me to pay. At first, I was upset about how, hey, we're getting along. Can you relinquish, or would you be willing to come up off of it and I'll carry the medical. I don't have no issues with that. But now I'm having issues for you want these to be temporary orders, but I have not seen my kids in a year. And I've been trying to get a job. I've been trying to get a job and I can't get a job. And taking in consideration that I have, which she is telling the truth, I have pending felony charges and I do have a felony. So I can't really, I'm not allowed to work or get those jobs or whatever. I've applied, I'm on food stamps. Uh, case with
And
my child who I see
Mr.
all the
Scott,
time. Final.
Mr.
My
Scott,
orders
Mr.
are final.
Scott, Mr.
What?
Scott, Mr. Scott, you're
Mr.
breaking up right now, and I know you're walking around, so sometimes the internet gets sketchy if you're not in one spot. So can
Is
you?
that better?
Yes, it is. Now that you
Okay,
stopped.
cool. So
But
that's
I'm not sure what I missed. The last, did you catch all of his last sentences, or Miss Teague, or not?
I did not, something about visitation and
I said,
medical.
I do not. I want it to be final, just for the simple reason being, y'all had me written down for 974 for dang near a year, and I've not been working for a year, um, just because of my current situation. I've also not seen my children for a year,
Okay.
and there has
And
not been protection order. So, with that being said, since I can't get a job and I'm having to work minimum wage because that's all I'm going to be able to get right now. I would like these orders to be set. Just because of what I have going on in this case, I'm having to go in front of a jury trial.
okay.
So
Now,
that is the reason I'm asking. I have applied for jobs. I've applied for jobs, but taking in consideration, I lost my job because of Ashley calling up to my job. I can't get jobs. So therefore, what I am saying, I would like my orders to be where they are at because I'm having to pick up side jobs to make ends meet.
okay.
And
Um,
orders, they are set. They are
and
literally set. And I've not seen my children in a year.
okay. And Mr. Scott, um, let me ask you this. Do you know of any pending legal action currently to hear the visitation issue of your children?
No, I don't have anything pending. I can see my kids. There was no protective order. There has not been a protective order. I have full access to my children. I've made multiple police reports against Ashley, just because I've not seen my children for within a year. She says it's because of legal action, because of this pending cases, and she feels fear for their safety. I've never put my kids in harm's way, and I'm not
Okay.
even going.
Do
I
you
do not go
know,
to her address.
Mr. Scott, do you know if Miss Thomas has filed anything as far as the issue of visitation?
She has not. I have, and
Um,
I've been.
Judge,
I,
I'd like you to take judicial notice of the court file that mom has filed a counter petition for visitation. Um, I have explained to both of the parties that it won't be heard today. So they are aware that they
can
need to
you
have
hold?
another setting for this.
And can you please hold her accountable for me not seeing my kids for a year? Hold that accountable. Hold that against the courtroom accountable for that, because you are not allowed unless there's a protective order set in place. You are not allowed, and there has not been a protective order.
Okay,
Whether you're paying or not paying, I am still able to have access to my children.
Mr. Scott, you're telling me things I already know, but let me stop you there. You don't have to tell me. I kind of been doing this for a while, so exact what you're saying is true, all of that. However, I need you all to know that that visitation modification, this court won't be hearing that. I do not believe I have the authority to hear visitation mods. You have to go to other courts. There's lots of other courts for that, but not this one. I'm a volume docket. I'm charged with mainly child support. It includes visitation when it's an initial order. We have to do it. Don't interrupt me, Mr. Stroud. I'm not done. And so here, it's just a strict modification of visitation. I cannot do today.
Okay, that's fine. Well, can we
Okay.
just keep it at that is fine, and that's fine. I'm agreeing to pay everything, and can we please just keep it at that? I do not believe in this should be temporary orders. I'm
I
done
get
talking.
that. I get that. You told me several times, the state's told me that. I'm trying to sort it out. So yes, thank you, sir. You finished your testimony, unless
I'm
you have
done.
questions for him, Ms. T.
No more questions for Mr. Scott, no.
Okay, well, now I have a question or two for you, Mr. Scott. I just thought of a couple of things. I did hear you say that for a year you haven't been working and you're doing these side jobs. Is that true? Is that what I heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Before this mess happened or whatever set you to not have a job. What kind of jobs were you doing before?
I was making 80,000 a year.
Doing what, sir?
I am a buyer, engineer buyer.
Engineer buyer?
Yes. So I work for semiconductors,
Okay.
applied
And
materials, and cesium. I worked for the U.S. Department of Defense and NASA.
and that all dried up a year ago.
Yes. I had to file unemployment. I lost my job. I really don't feel comfortable talking about it.
That's fine. Oh, I'm just trying to sort it out as far as what happened and why you didn't quit. You didn't because of
No,
child support or any of those things.
no.
Um,
If you've noticed in the past, if you've noticed in the past, even prior to me with me losing my job, I was still paying my child support with my unemployment.
and that's what you're charged to do, and that's a good thing. However, how old are you? Can you roughly tell
I'm
me your age?
I'm 34, and I just paid a big lump sum of $6,000.
Total or monthly or what? What do you mean
No,
big?
total. I just gave a big lump sum of
Oh,
six. Yes,
for child support.
yes.
I thought you meant from your employer or severance pay or something. I'm not sure what I heard, thought. Okay, but it was to child support that you just paid. Um, you told me you're 34. How long did you have of the job any job that ranged in the 80,000 a year category?
I've had two to three jobs because I was working. Like I said, I'd go to different jobs and I work contracts. So they give me their price, and hey, I'm making this much, but I'm paying my child support.
Okay.
I've had two or three jobs like that,
And
multiple jobs actually.
are you talking about during this time period of the year of unemployment, or are you talking?
The year of unemployment, I've literally uh shit, the year of unemployment, I've only had one, and then I worked there for 2 weeks, and then lost my job.
Okay, then what I was getting asked at was before the year went south this past year. Before that, how long were you making 80,000 a year? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years since your 20s or
Probably about I want to say probably about a year and a half or two.
okay. And before that, what was your rate of pay somewhere else?
Before that, my rate of pay was 77.
Okay, still close to 80, but not quite. So what was the first engineer job or any kind of job that made you think
I was at Applied Materials as a engineer coordinator for 3 years, and that's when I first got started off with um started off doing engineer coordinating when I first got put on child support. In there, I was making 26.50. From there, I had an opportunity to
by 26.50 you mean an hour or what's 26?
26.50 an hour. Yes,
And what was your first year pay at Applied Materials?
it was $26,
No,
and
no,
then they and then
annual,
huh?
annual pay, roughly annual pay.
Annual probably about it was like 56, 57.
So it's gone up since you first started, but you don't have any of that anymore. Do you have a college degree?
I do not.
You just have a high school diploma?
Yes,
And did you go to any college or have any
I
associate?
went to Del Mar College. I'm an ex-firefighter.
Okay. And you picked up skills like on your own, or how do you get trained for this kind of stuff? Or
Just I've always known a lot of people as soon as I got out of the firefighting, I started to work at a semiconductor business and I started to train and I was good at what I was doing. And so I just made my way up the ladder. And then I had to take a few tests and certification tests to get certified.
okay. When was the last time you held a minimum wage job? Ever, or college or high school?
Probably high school.
Your first job out of college, you made how much? I mean, out of high school rather. How much were you making early on?
Right out of high school was probably 52
Doing what?
as a firefighter.
Oh, okay. And you can't go back to firefighting even to
Un-
make that kind of income?
I can't, no ma'am.
And why would that be?
Just because of what's on my record.
Okay. Okay,
And I much rather not. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being home every night, and you know, being in the judicial system, going on the Rex and stuff, it kind of you kind of want to stay far away from that. It was good when you're younger and you don't have kids, but I have kids, and seeing going up on Rex and seeing stuff like that, I just don't like doing that no more.
And you're talking about the firefighting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But do you get, or do you have any idea that going from that kind of income to minimum wage job, that or minimum wage child support is just kind of a big drop?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm totally aware of that, but I have to be real. I have to be real with myself. I can't right now. I can't get the big $120,000 jobs. I can't
I
get
didn't hear
any.
you were making that. I just heard 80, so that's still a
But
lot.
but I've had offers to where, hey, we'll offer you 120,000 a year, but I can't take it because of currently what I have against me, and it's pending. I haven't been found guilty, but it's pending, and so nobody is willing to give me a chance. I've even applied at Goodwill.
Okay, so when do you think all the legal actions are going to end?
I I probably I'm going to trial now for both cases. Um,
Have they given you court dates for that?
uh, they have not. I go back to court on May 7th and then sometime in June. But they said my trial could last anywhere for a year, just trying to get my name cleared and to get
Okay.
everything cleared. Like I don't mind paying the child support. It's not necessarily about the money. It's just that I have to be real with myself. And like I said, I have a whole nother son, and I try to make ends meet. I'm making the ends meet the best I can.
Okay. Has anybody talked to you, I mean, by anybody, the state that maybe you might be underemployed with a minimum wage job, that there might be something you could do that's not $7.25 an hour for
I
12
mean,
a year?
I've tried. I'm not even lying. I've tried even at Whataburger.
Well, they pay more than 7.25.
Yes, and they do. But if I can't even get a job at Whataburger,
Okay. But
come on now.
there's a legal concept of underemployment. And so I'm trying to figure out if I do this, I'm shorting Miss Thomas because you're capable of making more, but I also know that maybe you can't do it right now, but in the reasonable future, it won't be any earlier than a year till the
Y-
trials are.
Yeah, because that's how my case is. I've talked to my lawyer, and you're saying you're helping Miss Thomas, but
Well, it's really your children that I'm charged
I-
with.
and I totally
Yes,
understand
yes.
that, but I also take care of my kids outside of the paper and outside of that court order work that I also do besides the money.
Okay, well, I would tell you that it's important to pay the money no matter what the number is
I
because
don't
she gets to decide how to use it, not you.
I don't care how she uses it. That's not my
That's
issue. I'm not
right.
under her house. I'm not under her household. I don't care about the money.
My point, Mr. Scott, is that whatever child support should be given to mom so she can make do with all the expenses she may have, not that you get to use part of your limited income to treat them, those kinds of things. If you have more money, you can do more. But on minimum wage job, that's just kind of,
Okay, so let me ask you this though. You made that comment. So how am I supposed to take care of my kids when I have them in my presence and my other son? Or how am I supposed to take care of my kids and be a father? Because black fathers get done dirty, and we get looked at funny when, hey, they're getting this, and hey, when a trying father that's trying to see their kids, but the mother's holding them against because she's not getting money, because she's money hungry. So make that make sense.
oh, none of this makes sense for people.
Okay, so let's just sign
No,
this
but Mr.
paperwork.
Scott, Mr. Scott,
Let's
stop.
just sign this
I gave
paperwork.
you your
Give
chance.
me my paperwork so I can sign it. It's not gonna go my way. If I gotta do temporary, then I gotta do temporary. I'm really, quite frankly, done because it's not obviously not gonna go my way
Mr.
because you don't
Scott, Mr. Scott, you're not done until I say you're done. I'm trying to make a reasonable decision on this one issue where y'all are eons apart. Yes, it'd be easy for me to say, be done with it. Don't interrupt whoever's talking. I'd be happy to send you away. Yes, one less case in 3 months. But realistically, I don't have the ability to set cases for a year or 2 years, Miss Thomas, either.
Okay.
No, hold on, Mr. Scott. I'm not done. You're done when I say you're done, and don't interrupt me. Anyhow, So it goes both ways. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What are the chances of me seeing you back here and you're in the same boat and then I can't change anything. However, the thing I could do if this is a temporary order, I see you back here, is determine whether if you're not making the money you used to be making, that you're capable of making more than $7.25 an hour. And I can set child support based on that, based on underemployment. I can do that. I'm not doing that today because y'all have agreed to this. The only question is it final, is it temporary? Ms. Teague, you've heard all that. Do you have anything else to present through the witnesses?
No, Judge.
And what do you think? Explain in a closing argument what can change in the next 3 months, even 6 months, but I don't have a calendar for next year. I don't have a calendar for the year after his or months after his criminal trials are over in a year. So I'm trying to figure out why I shouldn't do a final order versus the temporary. But yeah, I'll make the argument for me, Ms. T.
Yeah, and excuse me. I mean, the state is going to be requesting the temporary order to at least give time for dad to find a job. I mean, it looks like some of his criminal cases were just reported maybe last year. So I mean, yes, he's been given a year to find a job, but giving him a few more, at least one more chance to find a job. Hopefully we'll get a good child support amount for the kids in this case. So the state is just going to request maybe a temporary order this time to reevaluate in August. That'll give him, 4-ish months to find a job, maybe even if it is, $20 an hour doing something that he's not used to doing. As far as everything else, the parties are in agreement to the rest of the issues, and then the state is going to request to reserve the issue of arrears if it's a temporary order. If it's not a temporary order, then we'll submit into evidence a pay record and do a judgment as well.
Okay, and Ms. Thomas, let me ask you, I think Mr. Scott's made his position well known, and I know you just said you wanted a temporary order, but understanding that in 3 to 6 months, if not much has changed, may not be able to give you the child support you may be wanting at the 80,000 level if he's not making that. However, I can look at the issue of underemployment and figure something out that's not minimum wage and not maximum wage if he doesn't have it anymore. So, given that, what's your position today? Still that you want a temporary order?
Yeah, I would like a temporary order to hold the accountability. If we come back and that's the case and situation is the same and you agree that you want a final, that makes sense. But I'd like the documentation of the accountability on actually trying.
Well, can you
Respectfully,
hold her accountable too then for not letting me see my kids? Take accountability of that for once.
Okay, Mr. Scott, I heard you. And the thing I can do is hear what the cases are before me. I can't grab something out of the air that's not on file, that's not been given notice to the other parties, and is not set. So if you want me to hold her in contempt and put her in jail for not letting you visit, today's not the day. You'd have to file a pleading, you'd have to serve her with it, and you have to get in front of a judge to hear that. I don't hear contempt issues on visitation. Once I order visitation in the first instance, other courts can hear the rest of that. You can file, and you can have another court hear it. So that's why I'm not hearing it today, because it's not properly before the court. Ms. Teague, anything else you want to say?
No, Judge.
Ms. Thomas, do you have a date on your visitation modification, or you just barely filed it?
from my understanding, they were waiting for I guess whatever's going on with here, because our case ended up getting put in as a counter petition. But then realizing that OAG doesn't do modification to visitation. So because it was a pending action, I guess that's why they ended up putting here. My direction was to wait until after this, and then we would go through district court with getting a hearing.
Mr. Thomas is correct. That is a court order. You're subject to abide by it like he is for the child support, and visitation and child support are not tied together. They are separate issues. And so unless you have a really valid reason for not allowing the visit.
I do.
Well, I don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you, you might run the risk that you're also disobeying a court order. And if he files a contempt on you, you could be found in contempt. So I'm just telling you, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Both of you are under this order. You're supposed to obey it. And if you don't, you can find yourself on the other end of a contempt charge in another court. I hear child support enforcement contempts, but not visitation contempts or visitation modifications. That's just the way this program has been set up. So we can get people child support. Now, they're important issues. It's just that they're not given to us after a certain point. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and enter a temporary order on the chance that something changes. But again, if not much changes, the best I can do is at least look at the underemployment issue. So hear that loud and clear, Mr. Scott. If you can find something, anything that's more than 725, I would urge that you do that and come in and say that's all you can find. Because if not, I'm very not likely to order minimum wage permanently, at least not at this point from what I've heard about your background. So if you have any witnesses you want to bring, or bring a stack of papers of all the places you've applied for and the different wages and that you've been denied, put it in writing and bring it to court. And I'll hear it at that time. So temporary order on all issues. We're reserving the issue that you have agreed to on the record. We're reserving the issue of arrears, judgments and payouts. And the reset is August 14th. Let me double check my calendar. I assume it's a good day.
I believe so, Judge.
Hayes docket at you wanted it at 8:30, I presume.
Yes, 8:30. Yes, 8:30 on Zoom, August 14th.
Yeah, I'll be by Zoom again, correct. It'll be the same Zoom ID you had today, however, it'll all be in writing. You're gonna put it in an email. Just anything coming in from the Texas Office of the Attorney General, that's a proposed order that you'll be looking through an electronic program called DocuSign. So review it, sign it. I'm rendering the order, which means I've approved your request and ruled on the issue that was contested. So I'm making it a temporary order and you come back. But if you get a chance to review it, you only have about a week till next Wednesday. If you haven't signed off on the proposed written order, they're going to submit it to me on Thursday, a week from today, without your signature. I'll review it as well for accuracy. I took down notes, but it's now become my order. And if you don't sign it, I can still sign it without you, since it's been put on the record and you all are in full notice of it. The only thing that we didn't say is there's also a provision for the insurance that whoever's supposed to carry the insurance is, if you let it lapse, then you're liable for 100% of the cost. And it also says that when you have the insurance, and it would be you, Miss Thomas, that he's obligated, and you need to hear this, Mr. Scott, 50/50. That's probably in your prior order, but that's going to be in there too, even though we didn't discuss it. That's just a given under the law, and that's what would be in the order, 50/50 of anything that's not covered by insurance. Okay, anything else, Steve?
No, Judge.
Anything else, Mr.
That-
Scott? You have any questions, Mr. Scott? Ms. Thomas, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Then check your emails, maybe starting by 5 o'clock today. They might get it out. If not, tomorrow. Do try to review it and sign it if at all possible. If not, I'll get it in a week without your signature, and I'll review it for myself. Thank you, folks. You're excused. We see you back August 14th at 8:30. Your case is now set in stone. If you're not here, you can be defaulted. Mr. Scott already left the room. Ms. Thomas, you can follow. Good luck, and we'll see you in a few months.